Narubu, nice one. Hey, buddy. What channel's that from? Jeff, ich heiße Jeff. I am Jeff. I don't know what heiße means. My name is Jeff. Gotcha. Doo-doo-doo. Party Sardi. Hey, how's it going, Crouton Gaming? And Fob, how's it going, guys? Alright, well, I think we're good to go here, so I'm going to get a move on. So we're starting a bit early today. Going to be starting off with the battleship stuff. See how much action we get. Where we go from there really depends on the activity in the area. So let's do stuff. Before I get going, let's pop a drop, see where that takes me. Armor rip amount penalty, that sucks. Oh well. Oh, I forgot that coffee was so far away from Dodixie. Whoops. Forgot all about that. That's okay. Coffee will eventually catch up. Coffee's a much faster ship, warp speed wise. Not that fast, but should make up 4 jumps relatively quickly. Hey, Astronautistic. Shatner, how's it going? Grim. Alright, so Grim KVLT. Where's that IT? Looks like an LT. I'm gonna go with Grim. I always wanted to play Eve, it's so intimidating. Yeah, it is a very intimidating game. There's a hell of a lot going on. In fact, I am dual boxing. I run 2 clients at the same time, which is something that's actually fairly common to do when you're playing this game. When you've been playing this game for a while, and you want to increase your personal power, your personal ability. So this is probably even more intimidating than you may already normally think. There's a lot of stuff going on the stream, but I would say that if spaceships are your thing, if MMOs are your thing, kind of mature games, hard, challenging games are your thing, this is a game for you. If strong communities and a lot of socializing and working with players and building things is your thing, this game is definitely a game for you. Colt. Grim Colt. Oh, okay, V. V's a U. Grim Colt. Got it. Alright, we'll go with Grim Colt. Thanks for helping me with that one. Sometimes I don't know what people are doing with the letters in their name. It's kind of interesting when you read a lot of names. Sometimes it just snaps, and sometimes it doesn't. So that time it didn't. Hey, Tomato, how's it going, man? Cade, hey. Herr Dingler, welcome to the cast. Hey, Lyconis, how's it going, man? Probably should take out the fusion. That's not a damage type I really want to be sitting on. Minus 30% tracking doesn't sound like a good time to me. It's impossible, really. Reminds me of starting Galaxies back in the day, but on steroids. Seems so daunting to actually start from scratch to get to the points that you see others playing at. So yeah, so see other players on stream playing at. There's actually quite a few streams out there that show new players doing their thing. That's true and it's not true. So you can pretty much get very quickly to doing what other players are doing and being helpful and effective and building your way kind of what other players are doing. There is a divide there's a skill divide, a skill point divide between a new player and an old player that you can't really surmount unless you buy an older character for yourself. You can do that. So, for example, let's say you're a new player, but you want to contribute to... You want to get in the biggest ships in the game. You want to get into a super capital. Well, you literally cannot do that unless you buy an older character. Unless you skill up your character that you just started for I'm thinking a number of years, something like that. It takes a lot of skill training to be an effective super capital pilot. If you don't do that, you're just not worth... It's not worth being in that ship. That's an extreme case. For most things in this game, that is not the case. For most activities in this game, that is not the case. There are limitations such as that for getting into certain ships or doing certain activities, but the vast majority of activities in this game only take a very limited amount of skill training, and it's more knowledge based. It's more knowledge of the game mechanics based. So this game is definitely daunting, but honestly the most daunting part about this game is learning it, not so much spending time at it. You can spend hours and hours and hours at this game, but if you're not really paying too much attention and not learning much, you're not going to get too far. Whereas if you try to learn about and try to grow as a player, this game will reward you greatly. And very quickly, too. Okay, what's the deal with the 4th? Is Star Wars, like, birthday on the 4th? Something like that? I've been seeing that all over Twitters and stuff. I'm assuming that's the case. It's its birthday or something. You can skill into a super about a year now? Oh, okay. Sounds a lot like Galaxy's had to play for about a year to even start Jedi. Don't see a lot of games or MMOs, for that matter, doing things like that anymore. Yeah. So I mean, if you're a player that only wants to do like play as a Jedi, the only way for you to become a Jedi is to play the game for a long period of time, and that's probably doing things you don't necessarily want to do. However, I would say that for most players, you will find lots of other things to do in this game. There are many professions that you can take on. There are many active roles that you can take on. And flying a single ship is a means to an end. It's not the journey itself. Essentially, the ship that I'm flying right now, is a glove. It's a tool. It's a mechanism for me to do something. I have certain tools that I enjoy and certain tools that I prefer. But as a player that's been playing this game for a long time, and as a player that has ground his way up, and I was a new player myself, and there are many players when I started that had been playing this game for years and years before me. It wasn't insurmountable, and again, so really the hardest part about this game is just building player knowledge. It's not so much a limitation that you aren't able to, say, jump in the most powerful ship in the game from the get-go. It's more that, even if I could, what value is it to me if I don't know how to use it properly? Or if I don't have the player support? Again, this is a MMO. It's a massively multiplayer game. If I don't have friends to help me out when I'm in my super cool ship, there's no point. Because those ships are not designed to be used alone. You find my lack of nerdiness disturbing. Lyconis, I don't understand. What does that mean? I'm at a loss. I'm playing a game called EVE Online. Of course I'm nerdy. Oh, I guess you're talking about the Star Wars stuff. No one answered my question about the Star Wars stuff. What's the deal with the 4th? What's going on May 4th? Why does no one let me in? I want to hop on your train too. May the 4th. May the Force. May the Force be with you. That is so stupid. Oh god, that's cheesy. Oh man. Oh jeez. Oh, I'm gonna have to instruct my mods to ban anyone that says that. Oh man. Ban without mercy. Oh. I thought there was actually a reason, not just some fucking pun. Damn you and your plain words. It's not even a pun, but it's just plain words. Oh, that's dirty, man. Get out of here. Get out of here. Now I understand. Okay, alright. Thanks for letting me in the loop. I don't necessarily feel better for it, but hey. Be proud of your lack of recognition. I don't know. I never really feel proud. I think it's amusing for just about everyone else, though. I mean, half of my stream is me realizing things and seeing that look take over my face, and I think people really enjoy that. Revenge of the Fifth. Yeah. Alright. I don't know how active it's going to be in low sex, but what I will say for you guys, how do you guys feel about the proposed propulsion mod changes? I haven't really read too much into them. The only thing I know right now is that you now have the ability to go faster with, Meta Tech 2 and, progressively more powerful propulsion mods. So, like Dead Space propulsion mods generally give you more of a velocity bonus than cheaper propulsion mods. What's the consensus going on? I see a whole bunch of people kind of circle jerking that people, that CCP shouldn't be adding this extra velocity. I think I understand that. But I think I'm more interested in the fitting and stuff. I saw Zhao talk about the fitting of a Tech 2 current 1N NBD is still going to be very high, so it might not be all that impressive. Kind of curious. So what's everyone's take on it? You don't like the 550, 500 part? Well, yeah, that's going to be a kick in the butt for older players. They're going to have to relearn it. That's fine. Easier to search if you're very dumb. Nope, Omen jumped. Let's go try to bump the Omen off the gate. Let's see, where are these guys going? They're not warping. Nope. Yeah, they are. Where are they warping to? Station? Stargate? Millennial. Where's that? Is that HiSec? No. Is the CPU and bandwidth, I'm going to see CPU and power grid, going to be proportional to the cost, meaning more ISK, less power needed for you to move up? I don't know. It's just CCP's direction. You know, one thing I will say about the whole growth and speed of modules that I don't find bothersome about these modules is if you have an associated link to nerf to links. I think that would work really well if that was the case. So maybe hold off on the velocity changes until you nerf links. Just orbiting, not moving. And now he's following his friend in the Mauler. Okay. I think this guy's going to be on the opposite side of the gate by the time I ring around. Looks like he's actually orbiting the gate. He appears that he's orbiting the gate. Okay. I'm gonna wait for him to swing around until I try to bump him. Nice miss. God, I need to practice bumping. I don't know how much these guys are actually cognizant of me trying to bump them. I'm pretty sure Zabian here is still orbiting. There goes Zabian. Oh, hey, Mary. How's it going, man? By the way, Mary, I sent you an email. I don't know if you saw that. CSP Alarican posted an example of the Garmer. Faction Snake Zors custom max fleet bonuses. That's like no change. There's like no change. Wow. What's everyone so bothered about? If that's the best you can get. Huh. Stream keeps dying? I don't think it's me. Is stream dying for everyone? Okay, just for a couple of you. Okay, thank you. Looks like these guys are mid-safe now. Okay. It's just freeze frames. Well, now that I'm not chasing a couple of cruisers and failing horrifically and trying to bump them off the gate so I can engage them, let me kind of go through what you guys have been saying. It's not a big speed difference. Yeah, that's. I mean, just what it was proven. I like the details such as the overheat bonus difference. Really, there's an overheat bonus difference. Is the CPU... Isn't the cap usage better? I believe it is for some types of module, yes. They, I think the 3 types of category for module that they have is cap use, fitting, and I think raw speed. Even if links are nerfed, power creep is bad. I don't necessarily think this is the case with these modules. After the proposed changes, 1 kilometer per second is going to be even slower. Yeah, well, when you have a percentage increase, it's going to favor the higher end speeds for sure. So, interceptors are going to be... They're going to gain more raw speed than, say, a battleship, for sure. That was something I was worried about, depending on how fast these ships are going to be moving with the module changes. Are they proposing the change to try and bring newer players into the better fittings as possible, giving them a chance to throw ISK at a problem? Kind of. From what I'm seeing, you have the basic meta stuff, which is pretty much going to be your general module use, and then you're also going to have, faction and dead space modules that are going to have a little bit more of a reason for you to use them, other than, say, fitting cost, cap usage, removal of cap penalties, and evidently from what Rambo stated, there may also be difference in how heat efficient a module is, which would be really interesting. I'm still scrolling through a whole bunch of what you guys have been writing. You guys have been very vocal about this. Okay. Right now, it's trivial to get a frigate to outspeed warrior drones. Yeah, that's an issue. I would say that has a lot to do with, say, links. But yeah, I agree. You know, speed of very fast ships such as frigates is fairly absurd. High-end A-types will have a SIG penalty of only for 20%. I'm not sure if I like that. I'm not sure if I like that too. Yeah, I wonder how that compounds with signature bonuses that you already see in the game, such as on interceptors, assault ships, and hacks. The change adds 100 to 300 MS, which makes it easier to break those frigates. I don't know. I mean, because when you stack everything on, you see a change from 1 to 300 MS. I don't feel like that's really making them any more breaky. It seems very slight of a additional speed. Man, do I wish I had probes. This is the second instance where I wish I had probes tonight. That's unfortunate. Hey, Polster Man, how's it going? Strata, how's it going? The option to choose for different types of Tech 1 meta stuff with different choices is the only element that helps truly newer players. I agree. It's because they're cheap, and it gives you real choices. Sard, your proposed change isn't going to maximize mitigation in many situations. For instance, if you're taking 51% explosive and 49% EM, your proposed formula will shift all to explosive, which can, in fact, make you take more than the current system. Check your math on that, dude. I was testing that. I was looking at that, and I did not get that result for total damage taken. Relative percentage of, so, the relative percentage, so what I'm talking about, Mary, is, oh my gosh, that's still really high up. Let me finish. I'll get to your point in a moment here, Mary. Thecla complaining about the stream. I've got a few fits that won't work because they lack 200 MS. Wow, that's something else. I never thought speed would be that that small amount of speed for, say, a frigate would be that big of a deal for you, Tomato. Sard, I'll send you an in-game mail of what I think about the RAH thing. It's too cramped to type out here. I understand that. Reload it. Yeah, reload the page, yeah. Don't get me even started how 10 kms frigates interact at... Oh, 1 second. Okay, 1 second intervals, gotcha. Have you tried to tackle a frigate going 10 kms with another frigate going 10 kms? Yes, I have. It's not fun. I wrote something to Mary, yes. I wrote something about the reactive armor hardener to Mary, yes. I'm not a finesse player, like many are. I look at myself like a slugfest sort of fighter. Tomato, these changes may not affect my style of play, but I can see how it may upset some. Yeah, I understand that, Flug. And it does affect us, even if we are slugfest type brawly players that don't really look at the speed element things. So, okay, let me go back to the reactive armor hardener. So, everything I'm looking at, let's say you're taking a whole bunch of, let's say you have, I don't know, 50% explosive resist and 0% EM resist, right? Before the reactive armor hardener. And you are taking the same raw amount of damage. So, EM, after resistances, is going to be like double the damage output to your ship versus explosive, right? So then your reactive armor hardener would switch everything over to EM to cover that hole. Now, if you have 50-50 of EM resist and explosive resist, and you have more of explosive damage coming in before your reactive armor hardener, everything I'm seeing in the math says that you should throw everything at the damage type with the greatest magnitude coming in after resist before the reactive armor hardener. That's what I'm seeing with the math. And it makes sense given how resistances stack and everything. So that's where I'm at with that. I don't know how big of a deal. I mean, confirm that for me. It makes sense to me. I don't know if it truly makes sense, but if that's the case, then it's just a matter of trying to pitch that in a way that's going to make sense server calculations wise. Thecla, I'm not dropping frames or anything, man. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, Queen, we're still talking about reactives, armor hardeners. The saga continues. The stream's freezing. So it's happening to everybody. Well, not everybody, but it's happening to a significant portion of you guys. Well, shoot, I don't know what's going on, guys. I have no idea. What do I think about the MWD and AB changes? Personally, I don't think the addition of a velocity bonus to higher tier weapons, when I say higher tier, like faction and dead space weapons, faction and dead space propulsion modules, does not seem like a big deal to me. The biggest deal to me would be the changes to fitting, the changes to cap use, the changes to signature and potential heat effects, things like that. And these are details I have not looked at all. I do think it's very healthy that you have an individual like Tomato that's pointing out how big of a deal, say, these velocity changes are. And one thing I will say is that I could care less if you have velocity changes being added to the game. I could take it or leave it. I really don't care. So with that in mind, I can again pretty comfortably say that if this is a point of contention for many players, just drop the velocity changes, the proposed velocity changes, and look at that when, say, gang links have been firmly addressed. Because I think when you take gang links out of the equation, ships are going to be going a little bit slower, and having more speed out of expensive propulsion modules does make sense. I wonder if Mary's still around. Mary's still around. Okay, I wonder if he's looking at it himself. Yeah, Mary, all I did is I tossed in like the resistance formula into a spreadsheet, and I just threw on different incoming damage profiles, and then I ran through the reactive armor hardener equation a whole bunch, and I just came to this conclusion that it's needlessly complex. I'd like to see someone validate that result. To make every module useful and not to buff or nerf them. You've pretty much been getting buffs because making things useful, in many cases for a lot of these modules, meant buffing them. This is especially true when you're looking at the meta modules. That's where you see a lot of buffs. It's because they're making them useful. Now, as far as the whole Dead Space faction stuff goes, I think that also has a lot to do with the modules themselves, the propulsion modules. While capacitor is a huge deal, it's a huge deal. The cap penalty on a MWD is a huge deal. It's not very sexy. When you look at propulsion module, you think speed. So I think that's part of why CCP is adding like these really insignificant amounts of velocity bonus to these modules, just to make them a little bit more sexy. The rebalance of Meta 0 to Tech 2 gives you options instead of a go-to this is best thing. Yeah. Agreed. Tech 2 MWD has not always been useful. There's been a use for it, so it has been useful, but for many players in most circumstances, that module has not been preferable. I guess you're just complaining about the English that's being used. Oh, Leia. It'll be okay. You'll get over it. Believe me, I lament selling off my Quaif Megas. There's so many large compounds here. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Let's drag that up. I'm really curious if Mary's just looking at the numbers for the reactive armor hardener. I'm hoping he or she is. Hoping that's why I'm not seeing him in the chat, because I believe he's still in the chat population. I'd like to be validated here. I put a little bit of time into it, and I think my conclusion's right. No, don't jump. Dang it. You're typing an example to me in your proposal. Okay, cool. I'm sorry, I'm very impatient. I want someone to throw me a bone. And you're my chosen bone chucker. I'm out on a sailboat. I'm on a boat. That's correct. And Ellie, essentially what I have from my testing on the reactive armor hardener, it should pretty much be better than an energize adaptive in most circumstances. That was the result of my testing. Although, honestly, I probably should do a little bit more testing to see just how good or bad it is. And compare it, and do a little bit of spreadsheet analysis and compare it to an energize adaptive. I think that would be healthy. But essentially, the testing results state that for the two highest incoming damage types, it's going to shift the resistances over to those damage types to a minimum of 30% for each, which is good. It's better than the energize adaptive. However, the energize adaptive, if I'm taking 4 types of damage, is also pretty good. So I'm not entirely certain what the best choice is, but I'm pretty sure that for using a battleship like this, or a battle cruiser, that can support the cap use, it's a good choice. That's where I'm at with it. So you could rah! I'm pretty sure this guy's gonna be pos junk. Or not. Oh, he's off scan. Maybe he was doing a mission or something. It is broken for... Well, it's not just 2 types of damage, it's broken. It's a not very well functioning formula. That's something I'm discussing right now with Mary in the chat, with Mary McCorn. So as I understand it, Mary's a programmer, and he or she was going to model stuff and see how things look. And Mary seems to have a little bit of background looking at the Eve client and looking at the code stuff to see. So I think it seems that us working together may come up with an interesting or good solution for changing the reactive armor hardener to make it a more powerful, more effective module than where it's at right now, which I think would be cool. It doesn't always split the 30-30. It can do some weird shit, though, when you're taking only 2 types of damage. It can do some really weird stuff. But usually it's going to split 30-30 if you're taking 2 types of damage. And it does not care at all about the magnitude of damage. So it can do some really weird stuff. So if you're taking 1,000 explosive damage and 10 EM damage, it will split 30-30 between explosive and EM, which is very dumb. So that behavior, the reactive, is very dumb. However, if you look at that split and you compare it to, say, an energized adaptive, you're still getting more resist towards the needed resist than you would get compared to a energized adaptive, which is where I think the value in the module lies in its current operating form on Tranquility. And that's why I still have it on my Tempest. It did have some weird ones. That had to do with when you were taking damage and the relative amounts of damage, whether it would shift between one or the other. So if a damage, you stopped shooting with, and it became one damage type incoming, then it'd start shifting over to only that one damage type. And then if you went back to the two damage types, and then it would hold steady at the whatever percentages where it was at for the two damage types. Speaking as a programmer, implementing a proper logic for a reactive armor hardener cannot be that hard. I have an impression that the behavior is just very poorly defined before the implementation. I hope that's the case, Aboriginal. That said, though, I would, rather there be as small and compact of a formula that governs the module's behavior as possible, and that's kind of what I want to make sure is happening, so you don't have a lot of, database queries or whatever going on for that module to behave as it should. Because if that module was working properly, it's going to be fit on pretty much every armor tank in existence that can support the cap use. That's how powerful that module can be, in my eyes. So if you say have null blocks flying around with reactive hardener in each ship, so you have like potentially 1,000 of those modules acting, and if they're doing a whole bunch of database queries for raw amounts of damage or whatever, it has the potential to be kind of like extra drones and things that cause a whole bunch of computation that shouldn't be necessary. These are things I'm thinking of here. I don't know if that's really warranted, or if these kind of concerns I have or something I should be concerned about, but that's kind of what I have floating around in my head as potential issues. You sent me a mail. Okay. I'm gonna open that up on the stream, I guess. Thought about it a little more, and your solution will have the following problem. Suppose that you have a resistance profile. Okay, you know what? Let me dock up before I look at this, because my brain will fart, and then I will die. Notice this. Probably undocked from the station. Yep. What makes you think that CCP are nerfing links? It's the impression I got from devs. Okay. Yeah, 50, 25, 25, 10. Without the bonus. And your incoming damage is 100 DPS, 99 DPS therm. Explosive therm, okay. Your resulting resist after that shifts will be blah blah blah. Let's compare the DPS you would take in the old versus new reactive armor hardener. Old reactive armor hardener. Your resist after the reactive armor hardener will shift away from, let's see here. Well, okay, if you're taking this type of distribution, it should go 30-30 towards explosive and thermal. Your resist after the reactive armor shifts will be blah blah blah. Your effective incoming damage would be 63 DPS explosive and 52 DPS thermal for a total of 115 DPS. The new reactive armor hardener, it'll be slightly worse. Granted, the difference is very small, but partially due to the fact that there's quite a difference in the thermal and explosive resists in the above scenario. Since all sensible versions of the solution will involve checking the actual damage incoming, I think it is rather trivial additional logic to just apply the same distribution to the resists provided by the reactive armor hardener. For instance, the reactive armor hardener will try to shift towards 30-30. Yeah. Pretty much this is what I was looking at, but let me open up a spreadsheet and show you what I was actually looking at. Okay. So let's take your exact your thing here and see if I was right and you're wrong, you're right, or whatever. Okay, so we had 50, 20, 25, 10. So 50, 0.25, 0.25, 10. And that your incoming damage is 100 DPS and 99 DPS. Here's a question for you, Mary. Is this before or after resist? Sorry, Sard, I forgot the takeaway from the other two, but it doesn't affect the analysis. Guys, we spent about like 2.5, almost 3 hours yesterday going over the reactive armor hardener. If this seems a little bit slow for you or annoying for you, what have you, I'm going to be roaming in a moment here. I just want to kind of bounce something off of Mary and get a little bit better understanding of the game. One of my big things about playing this game is improving myself as a player and learning mechanics and sharing that knowledge with you, disseminating that knowledge. And the reactive armor hardener always had a little bit of magic to it because I didn't quite understand it. So now that I'm finally getting hold of how it works and such, this is kind of very interesting to me. Okay, pure damage incoming. Okay, thank you. So we're going to say that and 99 DPS thermal, okay? This is 0, 0, okay? Okay. So to start off, you're turning on your reactive armor hardener. And it's going to start shifting away from 15%. So I just kind of iterated this without automating it because I kind of forgot how to do it at the time. So what we have right here, so let's just go to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.15. So what you have after resist is 63 and 76, and let's look at what you got here. Oh, so you have your resulting resist after shifts occur. Oh, hold on. Let's read this. Okay. Your resulting resist after shifts occur will be 50, 25, 25, 64. Okay, so for my result, for what I propose, will be 50, 25, 25, 64. And this is for if you get 30-30. Okay. So from what our science resulted in, you'd have 0.3, 0.3. Which will result in 115. Okay. And for what I proposed, I'd have 0, 0, 0. And what was the raw incoming? He'd want to go towards explosive. 0.6. I'm not getting the same result as you. I'm getting you're getting better with on explosive. So with the old system, I'd have 115 DPS. With my proposed system, it'd be 110, approx. Is that what you're getting? Yeah. Can you check your work? I'm pretty sure my math on this spreadsheet's correct. All I'm doing right now with the spreadsheet is reactive armor hardener for resist and, after resist. So there's no damage control, there's no stacking on the reactive armor hardener or anything like that. Alright, so while Mary is disseminating that information, I'm going to undock and look for pews again. I know my alt has an old bookmark here. Let me give my alt a new bookmark. Did that copy over? It never does. For some reason it only works when I do it to the cargo. Sometimes, I guess. There we go. Be right back, guys. Yeah, that bell is terrifying. I used to damp it, and then someone took the little bit of damping stuff I put in there. Okay, so I'm getting some questions from Mary here in game. Let me drag this chat out. I'm right! I'm right! I'm right! I'm right! That's good, because it's really simple how it works out with the reactive armor hardener working the way that I described to you, Mary. It's super easy. You just look at the damage coming in that's the greatest magnitude after resists. That's all you have to look at, and then shift everything over. And you can maintain that quality of the reactive where it shifts over time. I think that's a nice little balancing effect to the module. I think this is really slick. The only thing I'm not sure of with how this reactive armor hardener works, with how I'm proposing it to change, and for everyone that's watching right now, essentially the best thing you can have with a reactive armor hardener is for it to shift all of that potential 60% resist to the highest incoming damage after resist. What it's doing right now is it splits between different resists sometimes it fails, but it splits between different resists, and it tries to essentially level out the incoming damage. It tries to level out the resists, which is very stupid. It's not intelligent at all. If you're looking at taking a really high magnitude amount of damage compared to low magnitudes of damage, essentially you always want to hit that high magnitude of damage with the resist. And this is doubly true because the reactive armor hardener doesn't stack with anything. So, all you have to do to make this module amazing is just have it look at your incoming damage after resists before the reactive armor hardener is applied. And then put everything towards the damage that is the highest after resists. That's all you have to do. And I'm not sure how difficult that would be for CCP to implement logic that way. But if they did, oh my goodness, it would be awesome. I wouldn't mind at all if Mary's right and I'm wrong and I made a mistake somewhere. But I mean, that's what iteration's all about, and why I want to be working with other people on this, because my math is not near as good as what it used to be back in school. My problem solving is also not near as good. Not with technical stuff like, say, math. I think I forgot to get rid of that 0 meter bookmark. Did I? Not sure if I did. It's a fair bit of computation depending on how the resistances and damage are coded. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It has the potential to be, for sure. Okay. If that's the 0 meter bookmark, that's perfect. Excellent. I did put it in. I want to be sure of that. Well, I gotta say though, I mean, the good thing is, even if you're calculating, I believe if you're calculating even after resists, after the reactive armor hardener is applied, and you're still looking at the raw incoming damage and which one's the highest magnitude, it's still going to point towards the right damage type, and putting everything towards that damage type will still be good. I'm pretty sure anyway. You still have to account for multiple damage types, but all it is which one, if this damage type is greater than other damage types. That's all you have to do. It's probably the same sort of logic going on, except that now you don't have splitting two damage types and having to account for that stuff. So it's probably going to be about the same work computationally. I'm guessing anyway. You managed to get your ults probably caught in Suicide by Arazu and it couldn't kill me in time? Nice. Exactly, Thekla. Alright, let's go to the map. Here's the important question. Will I bump? I will not. Nice. My drug ran out. Has it really been an hour? Holy shit. Time flies. Thanks for the heads up. That's kind of why I like putting the second client where it's at. I haven't even found a single fight total. That feel when you pop your pills and lose the ship because you didn't take it quick enough? Yeah. I usually prefer to just pop pills early these days. And it kind of gives me an idea of how long I've been roaming, sort of deal. But I think that has more to do with me being a kind of an entertainment PvPer, an exhibitionist PvPer than someone that's really trying to optimize the results. It is nice when you pop your pills early, right next to, say, where your clones are, though. If you're running an empty clone, then you can just kill it and get the best result possible. Which is cool. I probably won't use Genos. Well, no. I don't have much reason to. If anything, I don't really like using Genos, because it messes with all my fits. Then I'll have Geno fits and then I'll have non-Geno fits. It's very annoying. Pretty sure this Caracal is not landing. Oh, there he is. I'd like if you stayed right there. Ow! If only he was a little bit more polite and giving me more praise, I would may have been able to bump him. If only. Sorry, you have Tau 11 as -5. How come I know that dude? I have no idea. On May 6th, every active EVE account. Yeah, I don't think Trials will get anything. Yeah, Thekla, I agree. Otherwise, you'd have a zillion trial accounts made to game the system. Yep, yep. I mean, what you could do is use a buddy account system where you just activate a whole bunch of buddy accounts and then you get free Plex out of it. That'd be one way to game the system. I'm sure people would consider it. All you need is one starting Plex, and then you Plex the account, you get a free Plex back, and you keep doing that. Doesn't really cost anything to do that. What is my fit? It's a pretty much a gank Tempest, not really nano fit, but gank fit. 2 hyperspatials, Tech 2 burst rig, mix of 800s and D650s, heavy nuke, medium nuke, everything else as you see here. That's a lot of people in Rakdos. Oh, Snuffbox is active in Rakdos. Did they move in Rakdos, maybe? I don't know. I don't really care to find out. So right now I'm talking to Mary a little bit about the behavior of the reactive armor hardener in association with pretty much how they operate the game, and it's sounding like the behavior right now has everything to do with how the game behaves and efficiency and stuff. It's starting to make a lot more sense that why it acts the way it does and why. And you may have to work within the confines of how the game is designed and find a different approach to solving for your best resist than what I proposed. You can't get Plex unless you pay real money. Oh! I did not know that. If you prefer with Plex, you only get game time. Oh, that's a really good change. Thank you for clearing that up. CSP is giving away stuff, yes, on May 6th, which happens to be my birthday. They're giving away stuff on my birthday because CSP enjoys me and this game is so much that they call it the game's birthday. Why choose hyperspatial rigs over other choices? Battleships are really slow in warp, so if I want to roam around and have a good time and not, say, waste time in spent in warp, increasing my battleship's warp speed is very important. So you went to like a mission or something? Maybe it's that large? I'm gonna go to large, just in case. He did not have turrets. I'm gonna assume that he's a shield tank. Okay, he did not go to large. He would have been here before me. Vexor is on scan, though. Relatively close to me. Maybe he hit the medium? Not the medium. So maybe he did go to dead space, as I thought. Seems he did. Oh, Mobile Depot. This is the third time I wish I had probes today. Fun. I've used Genos in the past. I'm probably not gonna use Genos in the future. I usually prefer to have my fittings designed for either very cheap fitting implants for pretty much throwaway clones, or for using pirate implants or no implants. That's my preference. Genevolutions aren't all that expensive, but it's either I'm in an implant set that I want to keep alive, or I'm in an implant set that's throwaway for me to reship quickly. And I don't think Genevolutions are worth the hassle of reshipping for. I don't think they afford me enough benefit. Miss. I wish I could undo a lock and not give someone a warning that they're being locked. I really wish I could do that. I wish that was a function in the game. It happens often enough where I accidentally lock someone and they may be getting a warning that they're getting locked. How did that miss? How did that miss? I don't understand how that missed. That shouldn't have missed. That wasn't a miss. How do cruisers work? I don't understand. What does that even mean? Why did I miss? Hit an angle to the orbit that I did not anticipate. I swear I can do this for an hour, guys. I can do this for an hour straight and get something out of it just because I don't understand why my ship doesn't intercept when I draw a vector. Okay, that was a bump. Not near as much of a bump that I need. It hardly did anything to him. I don't understand that either. Why didn't that bump the fuck out of him? Oh, gosh. Why am I so bad at bumping? And why does it seem like others are have such an easy time with bumping? I don't understand. That just whiffed. How does that a whiff? What the fuck? What is this? I don't even understand. What? What the hell? That was too low. That was much too low. Okay. I'm gonna blame the waviness of the being next to the Stargate on that one. Just gonna leave this guy locked at this point. Seems he doesn't mind. Just alpha him? No, that's not gonna happen. It's not possible with Tempest, or with pretty much any ship. Maybe like polarized blaster boat might be able to do it. It wouldn't alpha it, but it'd kill it very quickly. Worth it. Very worth it. I mean, when you do hit it, I just really need to learn how to bump ships. I need to relearn that skill. It's just not a skill I have right now. It's very frustrating. Killed you, sent you 100 mil for killing the Link pilot. Yay, thanks. Why did I have this guy blocked? Evidently he smacks a lot? I don't know. Yeah, I almost got the pod as well, which probably should have been quite juicy. At least 100 or so mil. Came very close. Probably should have held off on heat as well. I mean, it really comes down to bumping him off the gate, not so much damage applied. I mean, once I have him pretty much bumped off, he's not really going anywhere. Not really sure. I think I did okay, just I would rather have that heat for other things. Oh, that's an expensive Tengu. With a 1MN MBD. Wow. Curious. That is not a frigate, sir. That is a cruiser. Well, I mean the the ship bonus towards specific links isn't all that important. Thekla. It's not that big of a deal. That he was using armor links on Tengu, you know, it's convenience. The frigate module's not so much convenience. That's just really lazily put together a fitting. I'll give you 100 mil for each link all I kill. Well, I will make an effort to make money off you, Malix. I appreciate your sponsorship. Until off-grid boosting goes away, it tends to be a fair amount of my PvPs is trying to bump those guys off gates and kill them. And it's kind of nice when I fly in a ship large enough to have enough mass to bump them and then actually kill them before their gangmates get there under sentries. It's one of the nice things about flying into Battleship, I guess you could say. You can almost always be ISK efficient if you're really good at bumping and just nailing a no-tank link ship off to a gate or a station. Oh, those are 400s, I see. Started, what implant do I normally fly with? I normally fly with no implants. That's my normal thing. When I'm flying around on a battleship like this, I use mid-grade snakes, typically. Okay. Let's see what Melix has been talking about here. Well, not Melix, sorry, Mary. As far as I understand, they don't. The logs are generated as damage is applied in a way that's... so in order to do what you're proposing, they have to actually keep a state in your ship, which keeps track of incoming damage from each damage type, or they have to parse the log to perform some calculations on the damages every time your cycle ends. That's not cheap. Consider that you have a tick every 10 seconds on a ship. Well, you have a tick every second, not 10 seconds. That's several. So then there's thousands of ships and drones and all sort of jazz. You have the problem of having to dig through logs every tick and performing some every tick, or keeping a separate state in each ship and updating it every time you receive damage. I'm pretty sure that the ship states are rather simple. You have shield, armor, structure, and cap. Each ship has a vector for its velocity, and that's it. So my theory is that the reactive armor hardener module itself keeps a separate state that gets updated every time you take damage as well. It tracks the damage type you receive. So if you receive EM thermal, it will flag as the state something like 1100. That's a binary. Okay, so different damage types. I understand that. At the start of the cycle, it probably resets to 0000, and then additional damage is applied, and it just does a simple OR operation to the state vector. I know this is getting programmer jargon, yeah, it is. But I'm almost entirely sure that it's roughly how it works on their part. In other words, they're doing a simple binary operation every time you take damage instead of keeping additional states for each damage type and updating them. So at the end of the cycle, the module checks the stuff. It'll make the shift. If it's blah, it'll shift EM only, etc. Such a bit vector will take 4-bit storage, and the OR operation is a simple binary operation, the simplest instruction for the CPU. Either way, let's just say that the current method is extremely efficient, both in terms of storage and calculation. Cool. That's very interesting. It's also something I don't want to hear. Like, we've had interesting results though. Like So I mean, from what you're saying, it really is just looking at the resist. It cares nothing about the magnitude damage, which is more or less what we were discovering yesterday. But I'm not sure if that's actually the full story, because I'm pretty sure magnitudes do have some part in how it chooses resists. Like, I kind of want to start go back on Sissy, Mary, and do a little more live fire testing of the reactive armor hardener and seeing how it shifts. I really want to do that right now, just because I'm not sure if you're entirely correct. I think they are looking at magnitudes, but like, I can't just talk to you and dig your brain about it and go over examples of why it works one way and why it works another way, and then confirm behavior. Do not listen to this guy. They write behaviors in Python. Python has little to no boost to using bitwise operations. Plus, you're right, magnitudes matter. The programmer is a hack. Demeter, let's keep the personal attacks to a minimum, please. I mean, if you disagree, state that you disagree. Please don't make it personal. The good type of hack? Like how to cut a watermelon? Alright, let's keep moving here. Oh, I didn't want to minimize that. I want to put it back into place in the thing and the stuff. Oh, I have a lot of paste. Why do I have so much paste? I have no idea. That's a lot of paste. That's a lot of value in paste. Hey, Lucifer. I don't know why I have you blocked in game. Typically, I have people blocked in game for very good reason, Lucifer. I saw a lot of what you were saying on my alt account. And I appreciate what you said about the Hydrostag podcast stuff. I don't know if the paste was in the Tengu. Let me check if it was in the Tengu. It may have been. Yes, it was. I didn't realize I actually picked up a 900 paste. It may have been spamming. Sometimes I have a very hair trigger on my blocks in game. Other times I don't. How many are on my block list? I have no idea. Probably quite a few people. I don't really wait long to block someone. Let me check. 568. I'm gonna say a lot of these are spam alts in marketplaces, but probably another fair amount of those are players I've bumped into, while roaming around low signals, like that sort of thing. I laugh when I see a person I block because I know they're spamming on GWMR. I don't know. Putting aside the fact that knowing client source without working at CC is illegal. They've admitted to module mechanics are written in Python, and C and C++ is mostly for geometry. I don't think he was talking about module mechanics, he was talking about ship state stuff. Even if the calculation is performed in Python, keeping a separate state is expensive because the client uses stackless Python and to keep a state, you either have to grow the stack on an existing thread, or you need to have it start a new thread. Oh jeez. The Moonspeak is strong. They can't keep any true state in the client. Client-side injections have been around forever. I don't even know what that means. I mean, the only thing I really know about stuff about your ship is that they calculate everything, I believe, on server tick. They recalculate everything per server tick. Things like resistances and your skills and everything like that. And as I understand, that's a big part of, say, Brain in the Box. So it's once I pretty much say that, I can't really continue saying anything about it because I have no idea what I'm talking about. The only thing I'm really concerned with is getting the best result out of that reactive armor hardener in a way that's feasible for CCP, and being able to pitch that at a dev and say, hey, you guy that knows stuff about this module or actually cares to take a peek, would this be more effective? Would this be more efficient? I can pitch it to the players. Can you actually make this happen? Blah, blah. Something like that. You know, so I'm just throwing snowballs at him. Just throwing snowballs at him. That's all I'm doing. But will they, is the real question. Well, I mean, that's the big thing for me, is that I will pitch something, I will assault developers with an idea if it's a feasible, workable solution for them. I would rather not assault them with something that is impossible for the game. And usually the dev is the individual telling me this, but I think it's very cool and neat to have individuals that are knowledgeable enough on the subject where I have a very good idea if it's possible to begin with. And then it just becomes a matter of them putting some little bit of man hours towards it. And if you get enough players behind something, then I think it's entirely possible. And I'd like to think, because the reactive armor hardener is a relatively new addition to the game, you don't have a lot of legacy code behind it. I would hope to God there isn't a bunch of, wormholes going around with reactive hardener going through the code to make it work. I can only hope. You know what? I bet Zao was doing this while he was buying Plex. One for you, one for me. One for you, one for me. One for you, two for me. One for you, one for me. Scrooge McDuck. And then he's like diving through his Plex. Just diving through the Plex. Swimming. Chortling the entire time. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Zao Plex Medusa. I love it. 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 Pat Pew, I don't know. I would like to. I don't know who to talk to, honestly. I do have a dev I can poke at that may be able to figure out who to talk to. I'm pretty sure the reactive armor hardener was Fozzie's baby, but I doubt he's the one that actually implemented it, so I don't know who the programmer would be behind it. Alright. Vorian, I could definitely inform a developer of how I'd want to do that. But here's the thing. Here's something that's very valuable to me when I'm talking about making a change, is that I have all my cards ready to play, and I play them only as necessary if I'm going to be sparring with the dev about a feature that I want to change with the game. So my first and best bet is to give them this thing where, give them the proposal that it acts in the best interest of the player. So the reactive armor hardener will shift towards the incoming damage with the highest magnitude after resist. I do not know how costly that is for the game. From everything that I'm hearing, it may be very costly. I don't know. But this is the ultimate goal for me, is to have this behavior out of the module. If that's not possible, and I have the developer say, that's impossible, and because that developer thinks in terms of, this guy's requesting something of me, I have no, this is my work, I don't really want to do things that's just going to be a pain in the ass and not yield anything that's going to be end for them unless I can pitch other things at them. So if I understand how not only the mechanics work, but how they're implemented and what's the ideal way to implement something, I would like to be able to pitch something to a developer that is possible in the first place, instead of just giving them something that's impossible and then, just trying to bludgeon it at the developer and make it happen to the point where they just, they shrug me off. So that's kind of what's really useful about this discussion right now. Now, would asking a developer how the reactive armor hardener works in the first place be incredibly useful? Yes, but that also means getting the time out of the day. And I don't even know who to talk to about it. I am incredibly hung up on the reactive armor hardener. It's just it's part of how I play this game. I like to know how things work, and that way, when I know how things work, I can break them apart and then make my ship even more, 5% better, 2% better, or I can improve my play by this much, or I can use this mechanic to work in my advantage and against someone else. That's why things like this are very interesting to me. I usually don't stream about stuff like this. I usually talk about the game, I try to explain it to you guys, and I try to give my reasoning to you. So this evolved from that. I didn't really understand how the reactive armor hardener works. I have a much better understanding of how it works. I'm still not 100% on it, but at least now I can give a really much better educated explanation of how it works, when it's good, when it's not, and what the costs are for using this module. And it may not be sexy for you guys, and it may not be something that is really interesting to watch for some of you, but it's a big part of my gameplay of this game. Alright, so we got rid of the alt. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of non-link, non-expensive clone stuff PvP. So let's see where my jump clones are. Let's get rid of a Hurricane. I haven't flown a Hurricane in a long time. I want to fly a Hurricane. We're gonna fly a Hurricane. It's Hurricane time. This Hurricane doesn't have anything fit. Fuck. Let me look up on EFT really quick what my Hurricane fittings are. I kind of want to fly an XL ASP Hurricane. I don't think the ship has the fitting anymore to do that. It used to have that fitting for it a very long time ago. Oops, that's not the right one. And I don't think it has that anymore. So I think the best way to pretty much throw around a Hurricane would be probably a hull tank for what I'm considering. Oh, okay. It does work. Oh, it even works with an Ansel. Or with a Newt. Really? No kidding. Okay. I wonder how valuable this is for a tank, though. I wonder if this is worth it to do that over a hull tank. Probably not, right? Sard, well, we can't tell you how it's implemented, since these kind of things can be implemented in various ways in various places, server, client, etc. If it's all server-side, then anything is possible, but the risk to break something is also much higher, as changing something in the client. So all we can do is ask a dev programmer to what he or she thinks about it. Okay, I totally agree. At the end of the day, I have no idea how they have been implemented. We may have an educated guess on how something's implemented, but hey, anyway, it's good discussion. I find it enlightening and enjoyable. I know you guys are kind of going gnashing teeth and roaring at each other, but as long as the argument is good-natured, go at it, because it seems like you have some like-minded guys kind of going at it, talking about the game, talking about how the game's made and stuff, which is, I think, cool. Alright, anyway, I'm gonna go with XL ASP fit, because I haven't done that in a long time. I used to do that way back in the day. Boop boo boo. I kind of wish I could fit a speed rig on this, a warp speed rig on this. I kind of want to do that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. It's kind of expensive, tank-wise. I can't get rid of that CPU rig unless I drop like a nano. I could drop a nano, which would drop my speed and agility quite a bit, wouldn't it? I'd drop it a fair amount. I mean, I'm not going to be running down anything. I'm not going to have an MJD. God, I want an MJD. I want an MJD so bad on this ship. I think this ship is almost worthless without an MJD. Maybe I should just go hull. Alright, we're gonna go to the shield fit. What happened? Okay, hold on a second. What happens if I put on the astronaut, the hyperspatial? Okay, then I put on CPU rig. Okay, well this Kane is going to really struggle hitting smaller targets, but it does have a singular medium newt. I don't necessarily like it. Alright, let's just go with what we had. So let me fit this guy up. Enough thought. Let's just act. Oh, you guys asking for hull? I can do hull. People, okay, go hull. Alright, we'll do hull. Fine. Fine. Be that way. Let's see here. Okay. all that thinking about it, you know, at the end of the day, stream's like, I want something else. Yeah, that's not that big. It doesn't cost me much to do something else. And for the individuals that are asking about a Fleet Hurricane, it's a lot more expensive. I don't think you get much out of it. The only thing you really get out of the Fleet Hurricane is the extra high slot plus all the HP. The extra high slot is definitely valuable. It's incredibly valuable. It's really good. It doesn't get application. I think application would sell it for me a lot better than the kind of lackluster double damage bonus that every other battlecruiser has, plus another bonus. Kind of bitter about that. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. Yeah, it's... I just want to run around a XLASP fitting. There's no real rationality to It's not more effective. I'd say the MJD makes the whole fitting much better defensively and offensively. But I just wanted to run with the XLASP. It's been a very long time since I've done that. Hey, by chance, does someone have a list of corporations generally sell which BPOs? Oh, geez, I don't know. Hey, Baki, how's it going, man? Good to have you. Lasers, then you can pretend to be a Star Destroyer. Ah, yeah. I'm a Star Destroyer that was captured by backwards route rules that have a whole bunch of autocannons. They don't have laser technology. Or they're too cool to actually have it. Okay. Let's click that. Not the skill training queue. Pause. Jump. Apply. Jump into the ship. No depleted uranium? I guess I could. It's not that bad of an idea. I need to dock up at tops or the market hub anyway. Okay, I can throw in some depleted uranium. Usually when I'm brawling, I don't use depleted uranium. Well, not depleted uranium. I think I normally have titanium sebo. I normally don't go with tracking ammo in a brawler. It's my general impression that high damage ammo will have more or less the same effect. Just because when you do hit a lot harder than high tracking ammo. We can throw it in there. I mean, I'm sitting on so much of the damn stuff. It's another thing I really need to look at some point, is look at the difference between high tracking ammo plus 20% tracking and the reduced damage output versus high damage ammo with reduced tracking but much higher damage output. How come new 225s? 225s? You mean 220 millimeters? Like, it's because I can fit the 420s. Not the, oh my god. The 425s. Okay. Theater medicine. No penalty. Rock on. Let's throw in a little bit of tracking ammo. Let's throw in a little bit of morale support. It needs... oh gosh, the ship needs a cool name. Alright, I got a name for it. I won't track frigates. 220s are probably going to have the same problem to track frigates, to be quite honest. Drones! Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I completely forgot about drones. We're almost out of system. We might get there eventually. For now, we're trapped in Dodixie. Is the web enough to hit frigates with 425s? If I have an afterburning frigate that is on me at 500 meters, orbiting his tail off, I will not hit him. Now, if I newt him and I turn off the afterburner, I will have a lot better chance of hitting him. The ultimate thing for me to hit a frigate that's orbiting me very close would be to use the web trick on him. If the player that I'm shooting at does not recognize that I'm using web trick on him and screwing with his orbit function, then I may kill him, or I will kill him. I may or will. It really depends. If he does realize and starts manual piloting, I will not kill that frigate. But the newt helps a lot. I see a Sard! How's it going, Zaber? Man, I really wish I had a warp speed rig on this. I already wish I had a warp speed rig on this. It'd be nice. It'd be lovely. But I guess I'll have to deal with 2.780 per sec. Not too bad. I remember Wensley's analysis. He argued that the third gyro gives you more effective hit damage output than given the higher volley from smashing hits. Or you mean the higher regularity of a wrecking hit, Gunvoid? I miss his graphs. I miss Wensley. I got comboed out of the blue by Wensley. He jumped on the game like I think a month or two ago and comboed me. Wensley's he's a smart dude. What's the web trick? That's a good question. Let's review the web trick. It's one of the few highlights that I have before we stop doing past broadcasts. Quality's not the best, but I'll explain it once it's done. Watch his ship. So what's happening with the web trick? It's two things, and I can show this also by just going back to this gate. Let's go back to the gate, go back to single client. Here we go. So you have two things going on with an orbit. If I set an orbit onto, say, the Stargate, let's say I set a really close orbit. I turn on my M2AD. The first thing that my orbit's probably going to do, depending on how close I am to the object, is that it's going to pretty much do a keep it range function. It's pretty much going to approach the object. The second thing that's going to happen is it's going to start orbiting the object. Now, the interesting thing about an orbit, the AI for an orbit, is that the orbit path's dependent on how fast your ship's going. So now I'm starting to transition into an orbit. It's not pretty, but it'll eventually get there. It's kind of elliptical because my ship isn't all that agile. But what will happen that's kind of interesting is that if I turn off my M2AD, what we may get out of my orbit path is that my ship might start going in a different direction. Oh, cheers, Grizzly. So I turned off my M2AD. Now let's see if my Hurricane goes in a different direction. It may or may not. Okay, so it's going to start doing a keeper range to get closer to the gate, and it completely flipped the fuck around. How interesting is that? When I have my M2AD on, my Hurricane goes in that direction. Nope, other direction. Yeah, that direction. When my M2AD is off, it goes in that direction. The same thing is going to happen if you get webbed. Your ship may start going in a different direction. So what can happen is if you turn a web and turn it off on an orbiting frigate, a frigate wants to do this. If you turn a web on and off, it can start doing this. And you can actually get the ship, if you time your web enough, to just pretty much stay in one spot. The other interesting thing is, let's say you do a keep it range, and you're the ship that's being orbited. You do a keep it range that tries to pull away from that ship. As we were talking about, the basic functionality, if that ship that's orbiting is not at the proper range, it'll do a keep it range. So you can actually start getting the ship rubber banding like this by abusing the autopilot orbit function. It's hacks, yeah. It's definitely messing with game mechanics. So, in effect, you can actually track a fast-moving, small signature target by using the web trick. Start demonstrating how to stimulate the clitoris. That's exactly my behavior in bed, by the way. I'm just talking to the girl and talking about game mechanics the entire time. Usually, my girlfriends, they wear earplugs, but they enjoy the experience. That's why I always manual pilot. Pat, I don't know if I believe you. It's so seductive to use things like orbit functions and keep it range functions. Really good pilots, they use them, but they understand the limitations. What's a clitoris? Good question, Gunvoid. Go Google it. By the way, this stream is 18 plus, mature audience only. If you don't know what sex is and all the joys of sex, go talk to your parents. Anyway, so yeah, if you don't understand the web trick, feel free to ask. Is there something you don't understand about it? Ask in the chat, and I'll try to do a little more explaining. I'ma scram your vagina. I'm 12, and what is this? Soon puberty will hit. Yeah, Pat. No, I hear you. I'm not trying to say that you're lying to me or anything like that. It's actually the whole keep it range thing for 100 km. That's something that I see a lot of nano-y skirmish pilots do with their like nano BS cruisers or whatever. And then have it orbit for like kind of an approach and keep it range for get the fuck away if something's approaching you, so you get the really easy minimal transversal keep it range, so you can blat frigates and stuff. It's something I'm very poor at, that I probably should practice a lot more. I see it a lot in Micro's videos, stuff like that, him using stuff like that. It's smart to do. I usually manual pilot for a lot of things like that, and it's not as smart to do. You don't mean to derail my excellent explanation? Are you telling me that you're sorry? But I'll add, not sorry. BRB asking my parents how to do the web trick. Do this. Do this. Oh my god, I love you guys so much. I hope the web trick is a thing now. That'll be probably the best way to get the web trick out there, is make it a sexual innuendo. Then everyone will be asking, what the fuck is the web trick? And people will be like, hee 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 hee. While rubbing the person they're talking to's clitoris. And people are like, what the fuck? That's not what? And then people will Google it and they'll be like, this makes no sense! And then somehow, like years later, all grizzled and, you know, completely confused and lost in life, they'll find their way into my chat channel and everyone's like, web trick, ah! And it'll all come together. Someone might write a Wikipedia article. At the very least, get it on Urban Dictionary. Get it. Oh, what is that? What is that? Evilpedia? Isn't that a thing? Put it on Evilpedia. Go do it. There you go. Bam. Boosh. Make it so. Bob, you're not going to derail this one. Sorry. Strain ain't got no brakes. This is Hurricane. Hurricane. Sebiester skin. Looks good. Yay. That's not how the web trick works, Bob. Loki. Loki coming? Come to me, Loki. Or not. You know, it's cool too. I should look at the map, given that I'm heading over here. I think that would be valuable. That looks good. We'll do that. I think we went to the deep end with this one, Bob. I'm just kind of enjoying it for a while. Erebus! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, oh no! Someone's talking about the web trick in Cheeto already. Yes! Oh, Jesus. Okay. Make it happen, minions. Spread the holy gospel of Sir Kane. That's awesome. Share your best web trick experiences over the next couple of days. We'll make it a true channel thing. Hey Woobly, how's it going, man? The Holy Doctrine of Sardcade. Woobly, if anyone's subbed to Cerno, and you know if you are, now's a good time for Cerno Lude. Lude fairies if you got them. Good to have you, Woobly. You doing a little bit of speedrunning today, Woobly? Sard, have you ever heard of What Have I Done thingy in your mind? I don't know what you're referring to, man. I don't know if that's referring to like something on YouTube or just like if I've ever had a what have you done moment. Using the stabber fit you used recently on stream and it's pretty fun. What stabber fit? I haven't used a stabber in a long time. What kind of stabber fit is it, Malix? It's been a really long time since I used a stabber. I can't remember the last time I used a stabber. Yes, raise those fairies! Raise those fairies! Sarno viewers represents. Oh, Days. Days of the rescue. Let's get a cat gif in here. Eee. There's always something missing, and it's usually a cat gif. Oh my gosh, people are spamming to give knowledge and explain the web trick in Vita. That's amazing. True EVE Online entrepreneurs right now. Okay, well, fucking hell is dead. Well, people have been having issue with the stream. I have no idea what's causing it, but a lot of people are talking about buffering issues where the stream would start, stop, that sort of thing. For tarnishing Sard's reputation as a sexual educator. I don't understand how it would be tarnishing it, man. That's not tarnishing it. What are you talking about? Oh, goodness. Buffer too strong, Well, there's the hook bill. I normally can't watch Sard due to buffering, but not today. I guess it's really hit and miss for people, Malix. I mean, I hope it's, it's always bad my way. Everyone would be able to watch and no one would have issues, but so it goes, right? Oh god. Yay, web trick. Maybe you should stop downloading web tricks. Oh my goodness. John, are you AFK? John? 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 John, don't be AFK, John. John, please. Oh. Move, John! Move! It's actually really fast for a cruiser. It looks like an afterburn to me. Oh, there's the MWD speed. Okay. Okay. Oh god. How often does the web trick get sold? When exactly does the sex ed stream start? Well, I need to schedule that one with Carolyn Grace. Once we've done that and got that nailed down, I'll have a date for you. Until then, it's yeah, might be a while. What? I'm in a conversation. Why do you need two conversations? Is this? Do you want this one to be blocked or? And scroll up a bit? Okay. What is on trick? It's 18 plus. It's gonna wish to buy a whip trick for 10 mil. Sell me one. Said, let me get my whip trick. I just sold one for 11. Yes! Oh, Queen is the one that bought it. I am happy. I'm very happy now. Thank you, Queen. It only works with the tour fashion. Oh god. Not planning on doing a Half-Life 2 runs today. I finish with my stream every day for a year. Holy shit, congratulations, dude. You know, it actually does blow my mind that you managed to do that. So, did you have any days where you did not stream anything like that, or did you actually manage to stream every day? It's something else. It just likes you to look set open. And so the thief gets thieved on. Oh wow, the tables have churned, Queenie. Pretty sure I just said churned. Turned. Ooh, Vexor Navy issue. Where dat at? Not large, dang it. Stone Scout? Yep. Off scan. I think we had a -1 from local. Damn. V&I would be probably a pretty good fight. It's very possible for them to kite and mess me up. To a Gene Simmons tongue. God, Malix. Never been on the receiving end, but it sounds like commander level stuff right there. Oh hey, here's the he's the Vexor Navy issue. Fantastic. And it looks like he just jumped. I don't think he just jumped. Okay. So, real question, is the Vexor Navy issue going to be shield tank or armor tank? I don't know. They're very difficult to gauge whether or not they're shield or armor tank, because just they don't have turrets. They don't typically use turrets. Now, if you could see energy neutralizers as a turret, that would be a game changer for being able to tell, like, the fitting on V&I, but given that's not the case, it's pretty rough. Now, solo V&I, I would assume, would be an armor tank. Gang V&I, I would assume, be a shield tank. So, assuming that this guy is solo, I'm going to load Fusion. Armor with 100 MNAB. Oh, that would be so frustrating if it was 100 MNAB. I know that's super popular, too. I think a lot of people do that with dual reps. Is that correct, Pat Pugh? And it's not just low select, they just fly 100 MN, fits all over the place. From what I've seen. Just happens to be the meta. Spare bit of ISK for my first web trick. Why is this a thing? Why? Oh god. Just trying to get a taste. I want to know what it's like to be web tricked. Oh dear me. And a plate. They actually run dual rep plus plate with 100 MN. The fitting's that good? I know the fitting's good. Is that going to be like the 800 plate? Not a 1600. Surely not a 1600. Hey, K-Extreme, how's it going, man? A little bit of Hurricane Roman going on right now. Looking for an engagement. Having a hard time finding one. I understand that you need no high slots in these fittings, Pat Pew. You still commonly see a neuter 2 or 3. But it does free up a hell of a lot of power grid. And small nudes don't exactly cost much power grid wise. I think I just went to the medium. Someday you can tell your grandkids how you went from turning web tricks to being a respectable businessman. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. So at least you streamed for a day was 0.2 hours. Eh. Okay, so evidently this is a thing, maybe? Only on the inside is it a thing. Anything at that small? Okay. Roaming fact war, forever regretting them in a ship larger than a destroyer. Was it 12 minutes of the web trick? That guy looks like he's exactly on the gate. This gate's huge, so... There's the motion. Alright. Pretty sure he was on the gate. Hey, he's actually warped. No, he didn't. Okay. So now that mollusk can TD me for days and days. So now everything can tackle me, everything can shoot me. Effective use of game mechanics right there. Which is the bane of an existence for a pilot like me running around in a BC. Now let's see, does Mollis actually have a point? Probably not. Nope, I'm warping. So I am going to have a really hard time dealing with that gang. They also have a Garmer, which is going to have a long-range scram, likely. I know they have at least a Scepter or two. It's pretty much a gang I don't want to fuck with. I'm not going to be able to lock anything. Warping to the Dalgate was not a good idea. They're just going to follow me around. I can't really do anything against that gang. And they're aggressive enough and understanding enough of game mechanics. They're I think they have maybe one player in there in a Mollis that's not going to be able to take sentries now. Where, problems. So they immediately have people engaging me. Oh, they even had a Vexor. So I can't lock anything near me. I can't really do anything right now. Actually, no, the Mollis isn't damping me as much as I thought it'd be. Oh my gosh, why isn't the way back? Oh my god, I'm not watching. I'm not watching ranges. Just watch ranges, Sard. Just watch ranges. Garmer's gonna be able to lock me. Nope, I'm out. Cool. Well, there's that. So I probably could have had a worm kill there if I was paying a little bit more attention to ranges. Again, my big issue as a player is watching overview and watching things coming close to me. I'm very poor situational awareness with my overview. It's my biggest failing as a player right now, and I need to work on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dock up and repair and see if we can do a round 2. Well, they had no one. They had people available to scram me. They just didn't use the scrambler. So I don't really know what's going on with that. Usually the interceptors or even the Garmer from Exodus gangs are a lot more on the ball with watching for MGD activations. So one thing I will say about running in a hull tanking Hurricane or hull tanking anything, a hull tanking battlecruiser that has a bunch of reinforced bulkheads fit to the ship is that the change in agility for the ship is really apparent. Essentially, you bull rush at things. You're not agile at all when you're running around the ship. I wasn't going to wreck the worm. The worm was never engaged. The worm was never engaged. He was holding on the gate, waiting for his tank to actually have issues. Why can't I lock that guy? There we go. So, I mean, one of my options was to bump the worm, but it's so stupidly difficult to bump a frigate that it's virtually not worth attempting. I'm pretty sure these are worm drones, so I really want to pick them up. There also may be drones from the Maulus. I think the Maulus has a bandwidth of 4, though. They can use 4 light drones. So it wouldn't really make too much sense if this was from the Maulus. Oh, they left... I didn't realize they left system. Where the fuck did it go? If I had scrammed the worm that was orbiting around and dipping into scram web range, I would have killed it. The real question is if I would have been able to hold tackle on those frigates, because they would have had a whole bunch of momentum, which would probably pull them out of my tackle range. But my big issue was just recognizing that the ship was close enough for me to tackle it. There's one instance where I had the worm within web range, and then there's another instance where he dipped into scram range. And between server tick and me just not seeing it fast enough, I never got tackle on that second worm. That first worm that was orbiting the gate, I was never going to kill it. That was never going to happen. He was just going to jump. He was just going to hit jump. It's never going to happen. Stop thinking that it would ever happen. Or here's Altane and crew. Where the fuck did those guys go? I'll go Sisade, something like that. Maybe Sisade. I'll go Sisade. The EHP Emrakul was bugged. They didn't rep. It was just bugged out because it had essentially what you're seeing on the HP is that was a worm drone. So when I pick it up, it has way less HP than when I pick it up. If I would have launched it into space, it would, I believe, have full HP. Just once it applies my skills onto the drone. My skills and ship bonuses, I should say. God, it's so weird to see 7-2 as the denizen of Alamok right now. Yeah, I picked up that. They killed one of my warriors. That's just the Sisade crowd. Where do those guys fucking go? I wasn't done. Grrr. These guys are making me feel like I'm done, though. That's a lot of guardians and stuff. Is it all at their station? I know they have a Erebus active, so they might be looking to bridge onto people. Well, I've already gone the Alga direction. I probably should head over to Hados or something, but Hados looks really bad for fights. Bospur actually doesn't. I'm gonna probably head over to Bospur if I can't cancel warp. I'll just bounce back over to Unlock Gate. Why am I on your watch list? I've never killed you. That's not why I have people to watch list. I have people to watch list because they do things that I don't like run links or smart bomb or things like that. I have occasionally added people from the stream on the watch list just so I know who they are in game. But pretty much everyone that's red on my watch list is probably an alt or just does something I don't like to see. Because when I look at them in local, they have a green circle next to them, and that means that I can then say, okay, what is your deal? Why did I mark you? Oh, it's an Erebus for dead terrorists. You know, stuff like that. Just important information for myself. It's getting quiet. Yeah, it's getting quiet. It's Eve's most important feature for players. Yeah, this game would be something else if you weren't able to see standings. Way back in the day, essentially the way you do it is people that didn't have portraits would be people that were new to the system. And they added standings to local, and that was a game changer. This game would be very interesting if you had a delayed local. It'd be something else. People that live in Wormhole live in a completely different game as far as I'm concerned. Then next to that, the D scanner, really kind of archaic but powerful, important tool. If a D-scanner didn't give exact types of ships and the name of the ship, like the actual name, not just like the ship name, like it's a Firetail, but the ship name that the player gave to it, would be a very different game. There's a lot of really interesting informational quirks that define how this game is played. Yeah, Trust, I mean, for a long while I would set people that I had kill rates to light blue. Blue standing doesn't mean positive standing, it doesn't mean you're friends. It doesn't really mean anything. I think Queenie in here I have it set at +10. It doesn't really mean anything. In fact, you can have someone set +10 and not have standing showing on your overview. It doesn't mean anything. It means what you decide to make it mean. What do you mean, how could I, Queen? What? 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 Did you get web tricked again, Queenie? It's actually a fairly long system. I didn't realize it was so large. At least it's pretty long in a battlecruiser for warp. It's better than it used to be, but not as bad. My standings mean nothing to you? No. All they mean is that I will not shoot you, because we do not PvP. It's the ultimate slap to the face that I can give you. Tell a PvPer that they cannot PvP. Oh, ouch. Apply ice to burn. Knave! And so the only way I'm ever gonna fight these Usha guys is if I was in something small enough to fit in one of these plexes. Usha they're always in a plex. They're always trying to do the fact war game. They're very predictable that way, which is nice, but it also means that I'm never gonna see them because they will never go to a large outpost unless they have like 20 dudes. They're usually trying to flip systems with, you know, novice smalls and medium outposts. It was worth it for that switch. Ah, you admit it! You admit it! You thief! You stole all of it! Ah! How could you? How could you? I left it there. It had a note on it, said it was Sardcades. Don't touch. Temporary storage. Had to drop off for fat loots. And Queenie comes along. It's like, yoink. Oh, has Sard on the name? No, I'm pretty sure that's Queenie. You love the variety totals? I'm glad you do. It's one of the things that keeps me playing this game is I have so much variety to choose from, so many different ships to choose from, so many different ways to fly and approach the game. A lot of them aren't necessarily the best choice you can make, but it's still interesting. Thief! Thief! Thief. If it wasn't for Sea Junkies, I would have gotten away from it. I was totally convinced it was Sea Junks, too. Oh man. Oh man. Then Sea Junks informed me of that conniving scoundrel. Queenies. Slayer of loot cans. I kind of wish the lighting for this changed, but I'm not too distraught over it. I think it looks pretty good. Sea Junks got my confessor earlier. It'll happen. Pat P, probably not. I just changed my ship skin, that's correct. There is the ability in the game now to change a ship's appearance. This was an addition that just was added to the game last week. It's fairly limited right now. There's actually a bug where you can apply any skin to any ship in the game, which had some really impressive, awesome, and amazing results. And they just reverted that bug, so it no longer exists. So the only skins you can apply to a ship are the ones you purchase for that exact specific ship. which is very limited, but... Oh, you know what? With Groove Shark gone, I should probably remove that tile. I know there's a tile on my stream that says Groove Shark, and that doesn't exist anymore. Probably should get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Edit panels. Where is Groove Shark? Remove. See you. There you go. Yeah, there are definitely ships that are missing. Ancient Warship. The Drake is one of them. What was some of the other ships that I was really surprised that I was missing from? I know the Drake was one of them. I think the Naga... No, I think the Naga has a skin. There's some BCs that are missing skins. You know, ships that people never fly. No, skins are permanent. So Toodles, what you essentially buy is a access to the skin. So if I look in here, a permanent skin. There are two types of skins. You have temporary skins and permanent skins. Temporary skins last 30 days, and you can, say, stack them. Temporary skins are skins that you can find in the game, and you can then apply to your account. So let's say you find in a site a Serpentis Brutix skin. You could apply that to your account, and then you'd be able to put that skin onto a Brutix for 30 days. If you found 5 of those skins, or you bought 5 of those skins, you could apply them all to your account and have 5 times 30, 150 days of using the Serpentis Brutix skin. But there are skins that from the New Eden store that you can get. I didn't start the game through the launcher. You're not going to be able to see it. And those you buy with Orem, or essentially dollars, and will then show up as permanent skins that you can always have available. They're really expensive right now. That's one of the major issues that players have. They're anywhere from like $5 to $20, and there's almost no rhyme or reason on to what skin is expensive and what skin is not. There's like frigate skins that are $20. There are battle cruiser skins that are like $5, $10, things like that. And there's a lot of discussion on it right now. A lot of good discussion. Oh, it's character bound. It's not account bound. Okay, sorry about that. It's character bound. Thank you, percent crit. Personally, wasn't sure about that. So yeah, that's correct. So you can actually transfer a character, and it will retain those skins. That's correct. This is pretty much why I wish I had a Hurricane fit that could easily accommodate a warp speed rig. So much roaming right now in during this time of the day with a battlecruiser. If you just don't find people in space that are doing space violence like that Exodus group, then you're probably going to be roaming around a lot and going gate to gate. So that warp speed rig would have been incredibly valuable right now. Just absurdly valuable. What's up, Grizzly Hits? It's a song playing in the background. Let me get it for you. If anyone yet started, I had a spat with Exodus. They were all in frigates. And I repped up. They left the scene of crime where they nearly killed me. And then they left system, and I have not been able to bump into them. They're probably my best chance for getting a fight, other than with Dead Terrace. And it looks like Dead Terrace are using a Erebus right now. So they're looking to do some serious Genki stuff. Which probably means I'm not going to get a very good engagement with a Hurricane. So Extus is probably my best bet for a fight, and I'm just not finding it. So that Tengu is not super close. Is it still on scan? Yep. This is, I think, the 4th or 5th time that I wish I had probes. Guy doing a sight. I don't suppose there is a, yeah, he's doing a sight. Oh, not that site specifically, though. Okay. Oh, goodness. Rifterling, huh? Yeah, he's jumping immediately. Hmm. Wonder what he's up to. And gone. Okay. That's my Arthurus. Don't you be coveting my ox, man. Every day of the week. Oh, you're off to sell it. Oh, I'm definitely making quite a few space bucks off an Arthurus. Nearly 300 million ISK. They've been holding really steady at that. I wonder how lucrative running missions for Mortis and Garistas are over in Nullsex. It's probably ridiculously lucrative to do. Rattlesnakes make nothing, but if you convert it into cruiser blueprints from the LP store, man oh man, you're probably just printing ISK. You found 9 Barhes BPCs in total so far. Nice paycheck. From doing belt ratting, Totalologist. How long did it take you to find? How long does it take you to find a Mortis spawn in lowsec? I've never found one. And I know people that have spent hours clearing belts and good systems for it, never finding a 1. Not a 1. Just freaking absurd. It's still kind of risky compared to doing incursions. Well, of course, yeah. Depends if you own the space, but even then. You have to do besiege research facilities, don't you? No, you can actually you find Mortis spawns in belts. Lucky dice rolls, I guess. Yeah, I would say so. Most people I talk to, I mean, it's not a enjoyable grind. Oh, okay, guys. Well, actually, this is Azure. I thought this was not Azure. Okay, so everything's on scan. These guys are all docked, okay. Just take a fast cruiser for killing and roam like 30 systems every day after downtime. Easy money. So is it still the case where you do things after downtime? It's the best way to make money. You have the best chance of finding things like that. I thought that was not the case. I thought they changed that for a lot of things. And how easy is it to say kill a Barhest with a Syndable? I was under an impression those things are a little bit more difficult to kill. After downtime, every spawn gets resetted, so you have a high chance of getting a new faction spawn. Speed tank of 400 DPS. Okay. Okay. Oh, hello. Well, there's that. My MWD didn't take either. Ah, love it! Love it. Love it, love it, love it! Oh, what? Did you hit approach, thereby breaking your cloak, and hit a module that's an active module? No, you still cloaked, brother. You still cloaked. Oh, man. Love how I have to wait virtually a full server tick before making an action after decloaking. So entertaining. So fun. Is there such thing as faction ship BPO? No. No. The closest thing you have to something that would be so absurd as that, so ludicrous, would be a Tech2 blueprint. Way back in the day, before there was an invention for Tech2 items, all Tech2 items were created through blueprints. Blueprint originals that were distributed to players through a raffle system. So yeah, you pretty much I think it's ground up standings with NPC agents, and I think either the more agents or the better your standings, stuff like that, you'd be entered in a chance to win Tech2 blueprints, something like that, something along those lines. And that pretty much meant you were more or less set for life. Well, I have no idea where the Exodus guys went. That is rough. I wouldn't mind dying to them. Because they seem to have a pilot or two that is more than willing to get in scrambler range of me. The real interesting thing to me is that they had 2 mollusks. I probably wouldn't have the lock range to lock out further than a couple kilometers. Even if I can get within, say, 9 km of a frigate, I likely wouldn't be able to do anything with it as long as their mollusks weren't goofing off. Well flown 5 to 10 man gang, mincemeat of just about any player, any individual player. Especially if they have a good comp, a good, well supported comp. With damage output, support ships, all that jazz. Do those Tech2 BPOs still exist? Yes, they do. Have they really been nerfed? I don't think they've really been nerfed. The only thing, they haven't really been nerfed. I feel like the only thing that's really been nerfed about them is the limitations to invention, from what I remember of industry changes. So they're worth a lot of money, but the amount of time that for what people want out of those blueprints for value, the amount of time of 100% production that you'd have to put into a Tech2 blueprint typically is on the order of years for you to actually get a return on a blueprint. They're not as valuable for that reason. Most people want to have better turnaround much faster. That kind of long game play is not very valuable to people. A Tech2 blueprint takes about 7 to 10 years to pay itself back. I guess it depends. Well, it depends entirely on what you pay on it. The usual figure that I hear is a couple, like 3 plus years. If it's gone up from there, if anything, that would tell me that their value has increased, not decreased. Yeah, people still move around Tech2 blueprints like it's not really a thing. It does happen occasionally where you find people being kind of dumb with their very high value assets, moving them around in ways they shouldn't be moved. And while gate camping is an intensely boring activity, when you see people dying to camps like that, people scanning and doing suicide ganking in high sec, you understand why they do it. That once in a million shot at a loot drop like that, oh baby. That is something else. Sorry, where I'm going. I'm going back to my home system of Dodixia to drop off this ship. Oh yeah, Arvara, like when you only had Tech 2 invention, or sorry, Tech 2 production from BPOs, people would set up cartels. They would fix prices. Vagabonds for the longest time were like a quarter a bill, half a bill. They were just an absurd amount of money on the open market. Alliances that had the blueprints would print them off for, virtually nothing, but the value to players that did not have like an inside access to the blueprint and getting like a friend price paid out of their out of their minds. Hulks were like $1 billion each around then. It was a very different world to what we play in today, where everything is a lot less valuable due to mass production. What's the most ISP I've ever lost at once? Well, I've dropped many a frame in my day on occasion. Most ISK I've ever lost in one go. Oh man, I'm trying to think. I don't tend to fly really expensive stuff. Typically when I lose a lot of ISK, it's with implant sets, with high-grade implant sets. I've lost quite a few high-grade implant sets. So those are typically worth anywhere $2 to $3 bill. Probably around that $3+ billion ISK mark, so an expensive ship plus getting potted with a high-grade implant set. That's probably around that. Invention was changed so it no longer involved ME, so Tech 2 BPO advantage was massively reduced. Oh, okay. So the advantage of having a research Tech 2 BPO for material efficiency is not near. Okay, gotcha. It's not near as potent as what it used to be. Yeah, I remember that change. I've never done invention myself, though. I know friends of mine used to invent all sorts of different stuff and just make ridiculous sums of ISK. Back when invention was kind of a new thing. Alright, guys, I am going to call it a night. Not a lot of content tonight. It's a weeknight. It'll happen. So, we'll be going live again on Wednesday for a scheduled stream. I started a fair bit early today, about an hour early, ending a little bit early because of that. Again, so if you scroll down, you'll see a 4-day-a-week schedule that I'm doing my best to adhere to. If you want to know when that schedule is going to change or see updates for the stream, stuff like that, I highly recommend you guys go follow me on Twitter. Twitter is probably the best place to know when I'm going to be going stream live or if a schedule change needs to happen, stuff like that. There's events going on. I try to make sure that every tweet that I send out that's not like replying to someone is focused on EVE Online or focused on stream stuff, things like that. But other than that, guys, I'll probably see you on Wednesday. We'll be doing a little bit more roaming around, probably some more EVE stuff. I think there was, I don't know if it's a viewer that's on right now. I did pick up Convoy, and there's also another, I think, older indie game that I'm looking at picking up. If it ends up being really dead on Wednesday night, something like that, I might actually do some Convoy, which is a very interesting roguelike game that was released only a couple weeks ago, which I think would be pretty fun to watch. But other than that, guys, that's it for the stream. Fly reckless. Have a good night.